Hi, I'm Pete Riley, and welcome to this lesson for Rhythm Magazine, where we're taking a look at independence and how to develop it. And how to develop it in a backbeat-orientated playing position, which is what we spend most of our time doing. And hopefully some of these examples are going to break down some conflicts that you might find appearing between the limbs as you try and play some grooves. We're going to start off with an eighth note feel on the hi-hat or the ride cymbal. We're going to accent quarter notes. You may find that in some of your playing situations you don't want accented quarter notes, just even eighth notes are what you want. But once you've got the ability to put the accents in, it can be quite effective going to the bell, or if you want to reverse that accent pattern so you're accenting the upbeat, you've got some of that independence there already. So without further ado, this is example 1. We're going to play it in 4/4 to begin with. You'll notice that some of the examples move between 4/4 and 3/4. That should make a little more sense in just a minute. So here's example 1. You notice in the examples in the magazine, there's the dotted line to show that you could play this in 3 as well. So when we do that, it has a more cyclical feel because it just moves around and round with essentially a 4/3 type feel. The idea of example 2 is to start incorporating ghost notes in the left hand that will hopefully be unaffected by what's happening on the hi-hats. So once again, we'll start in 4/4. And once again, we'll try that in 3. A good challenge with that example is to try pulling out accents on either the first note of the group of 2 or the second note of the group of 2. So I'll stay in 3 and I'll try that on the first note. And now on the second note. Next, in example 3, the emphasis moves to the bass drum, so it's almost the reverse of example 2. And once again, starting in 4/4. And in 3. Those exercises also work well if we move over to the ride cymbal. We can then start stepping the hi-hat as well. So perhaps as we're accenting quarter notes on the bell, it would be nice to get the opposite eighth note, so we'll step the upbeat eighth note here. So I'll run examples 1 to 3 once more, playing their 4/4 variations, so you can hear how that sounds. Examples 4 to 6 then run through that same process again, but using this broken 16th note time pattern. So here's example 4 in 4/4. And in 3. And so here's example 5, where we're now ghosting on the snare. And in 3. And here in example 6, we've reversed that, so now we've got the movement on the bass drum. And in 3. We can also start to use the stepped hi-hat with that example, but this time let's stay over on the hi-hats. We're going to step the upbeat eighth note. I'm going to do that heel down because we're going to go for an open sound on the hi-hats this time, like this. So I'll run examples 4 to 6 once more, like that, and in 4/4. Here in examples 7 and 8, we're changing the process slightly and building our independence from the feet upwards. We're going to start with these 3/4 foot patterns. So here in 7A, I'm stepping quarter notes with the hi-hat, playing a dotted eighth note rhythm on the bass drum. So essentially a 4/3 pattern that sounds like this. 1, 2, 3. And we're then going to play examples 8, A to D, with the hands over the top. When we combine those two patterns, so the 2-beat hand patterns, the 3-beat foot patterns, it actually means for these examples to resolve, it takes 6 beats. So we're in 6/4 essentially. So I'm just going to count it in 3. I'll play 1 bar of the feet, and then I'll start running through the hand patterns. And so finally, here's that same process, but using example 7b, where there's now a little more movement on the bass drum. And so here's our basic 3 feel with the feet. 1, 2, 3. So once again, going to get that started with the feet and run examples 8, A to D over the top of that. Don't get too despondent if these are you find these examples challenging. Believe me, they were for me when I first got started. But I think you'll find that once you start to play some more 8th and 16th note time after this, you'll have the freedom to play more syncopated ideas, perhaps stepping the hi-hat where you were unable to before, or perhaps playing a more involved bass drum pattern than before. So hopefully you're going to find them all beneficial. So once again, here's example 7b with the feet, with examples 8, A to D with the hands over the top, counting in 3, couple of bars of time with the feet. Here we go.